Hey everyone, it's time for some more Monster Hunter. Today we'll be fighting 10 Bullfingo. Excuse me, we'll be doing the 2-star quest, Violent Carnival. And for this one's quest, it says Speed, the fastest. Limp them to stop at any rate, come back safely. So I guess in this world, being fast makes you targets. I like to think it's funny. I kind of had this meme in my head. Maybe I'll make something about it at some point, like an actual meme, but it's like in other Monster Hunter games, you have monsters that are attacking villages and killing people, or killing livestock and stuff. And obviously, they have to be hunted down for that reason. And then in Monster Hunter Portable Third, the monsters exist. And for the crime of existing, they must be hunted down for everyone's safety. And I think that's just funny. I like to think that places like Kokoto Village and Burden and wherever else, they actually have good reasons for fighting monsters. But then over in Yukuba, they literally just have no trill. They see a monster strutting about, looking all royal, and they think, well, we can't have a monster doing that. So they have you hunt it, or they're like, oh, well, accidentally stepped on or something. Go hunt it. They just have like absolutely no chill. But for hunting 10 Bullfingo, there's definitely going to be a lot of them in Area 5. I can say that for certain. But there should be some over here in Area 4 as well. Yeah, there's always some Bullfingo here. Oh, actually, no, there's not. There is there's usually Jaggy and Great Jaggy here. But, oh, that's a Bull Drone. All right, that makes a little bit of sense. You know what? I don't think I fought a Bull Drone yet. Maybe I will beat up him just a little bit. Try to make him run away. They literally just have no trill because Bull Drone is like the big daddy of Bullfingo. For those of you who don't know, there's in Monster Hunter 1, there's actually a couple areas in, I believe it's the swamp, like specifically in the swamp. And they have extremely large Bullfingo that are actually just a little bit smaller than this. They are still normal Bullfingo, they have about the same amount of HP, but I think it's funny that, even something like the Bull Drone or an Alpha Bullfingo was thought back as far as Monster Hunter, as far as Monster Hunter 3. That's what I was saying about walls. You can't really get anywhere because being at the wall, oh god, that was a terrible idea. But being next to a wall, you can't, like, get out of the way. Because I was trying to go to his right, or to his left, which is my right, and obviously there's no room to move or maneuver, so I couldn't do that. But I do think it's interesting that they did go as far as actually bringing in this Alpha Bullfingo that they introduced back in, Monster Hunter 1 or something like that. But looks like he's already enraged, which means either I'm doing a lot of damage or he really does have literally no chill. Which, would make sense. He is the big daddy of Bullfingos. When it comes to hunting the Bull Drum, though, it's really not too much different from fighting Bullfingos. He does have a couple of moves, such as that move right there, where he does his toss around, because obviously his tusks are a lot larger than normal Bullfingos, but a lot of it really is just avoiding his charges, and his charges just come out a lot more quickly compared to normal Bullfingos. But even he has the, the little paw up the ground thing that other Bullfingos do. It's just, I think he only paws it around like once or maybe twice if you're lucky, compared to the 3 times that Bullfingos always paw the ground. And all they do is charge. They don't really have any use besides that, just charging like an instant charge. But the Bull Drum himself, he has an instant charge he loves to pull out. He also has I believe he has a back kick. I think he was, before I knocked him down a moment ago, I believe he was trying to use it as well, but now he's exhausted. What I think is funny is that whenever he does run off, his run is very sassy. I always think it's really hilarious how he runs off, but yeah, okay, that's what I was expecting. I definitely took a calculated risk there, but man, am I bad at math. But as far as the Bull Drum goes, whenever he runs off, he does like the sassiest little run ever, and it's like my favorite thing in Monster Hunter. Also, I was struggling with the camera there for some reason, I don't know why, but let's see if we can get him knocked down. If we can get a decent amount of damage on him. But really, he's usually pretty easy to deal with if you can avoid the charges. The charges really are the most dangerous thing about him. And also, he can actually curve his charges into. He doesn't run into a straight line, he actually goes after the player in the party. That's what I was talking about. Look at that sassy little run. He even waggles his butt when he does it. I just think it's so hilarious how sassy it is. Of course, picking this up is probably a beast tier. Yeah, it's a beast tier. But the Jaggy and the Jagia, they were definitely getting in the way there. So I'm glad they won't be a problem now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and kill the Bullfingo as they come, and then slowly whittle down the Bull Drum in the meantime, because you don't really have to kill the Bull Drum in this mission. I think it's actually a subquest, but let me go ahead and check. So, no, it doesn't look like he has a subquest. I actually don't think subquest... No, are they in this game? I can't remember when subquests were brought in Monster Hunter, but I think it was Gen 4, if I remember correctly. Either way, in quests like this, where you have to fight, like, you know, Loss of Prey or some other small monster that there's a large version of, usually the larger version of that monster will be there as well to kind of spice it up. But what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to go ahead and start beating up the Bullfingo here, and like I was saying before, just like the Bull Drum, they do have that charge, so you have like a shorter charge and a longer charge, but obviously they have a lot less health, and on top of that, they pop the ground 3 times. They can curve their charge slightly, but only at the very start of it, so it is a good idea to be mindful of that, but they haven't really changed much, even as far as Monster Hunter Rise. You just kind of beat them up, and then you can knock them down pretty quickly and easily. The only difference is that in Monster Hunter 1, I believe, the Bullfingo just have a ridiculous amount of health. Oh, and there goes his shield. But yeah, I actually didn't realize I'm that far down already, because I don't think this guy actually limps. I could be wrong. If anybody's seen Bull Drum limp, please let me know in the comments below, because I need to know if his runaway is sassy. Does he have like a sassy limp? Or does he just run off? But he was definitely sleeping, which meant he was pretty low in health. And now that I've woken him up, as with all large monsters, whenever you wake them up from sleeping, they always get enraged. So it's a good idea to be prepared for that whenever you wake a monster up. If those of you who don't know, a monster being woken up does get enraged, which means they will be a lot more difficult to deal with. So just keep that in mind. Still, since he was sleeping, he probably was a lot closer to dying than I thought. But I'm going to try to stay away from those tusk while he's thrashing about, because I have definitely learned my lesson from last time. But I do want to know, how much health does this guy have? Okay, yeah, I'm actually on, he's already dead, wow. So I am on a 2-star mission, and I don't know if me being on like a hunt quest for specifically Bullfingo makes his health get reduced, but that's like the health value of a single-player Bull Drum, which is really interesting to me. I don't have this weapon upgraded too far. I think I've only upgraded it twice. I think it's the Soldier's Dagger. I'll have to check. Yeah, Soldier's Dagger. So I think I've only upgraded it twice from the Bone Knife. I could be wrong. Although there was a shiny here, and I seem to have misplaced it, so whoops there. But anytime you are in this area, it is a good idea to get honey for mega potions. Although, royal honey, I'm not entirely sure what that is. I think that is a key item, or like a points item, kind of like the special mushrooms from Monster Hunter 1. So, or the beast tears. You get it, and then it just gives you more points at the end of the quest. But since I have beat up the Bull Drum, I'll just go ahead and use the rest of this time to beat up the Bullfingo. I figured there'd be a couple here. I'm actually surprised there are 3. That's actually a lot. I'm not used to Bullfingo being in areas where there's a lot of water, so this is definitely a little interesting for me. But, oh my goodness, I was hoping to stun him out of attacking, but it seems I mistimed it. Either way, he's gone. Good and dealt with. Another thing is, I do need an iron ore. If you do need an iron ore, I think there's also some Bullfingo in the area too, but there is iron ore there. It's a little bit different in this... Oh, no, it's not this game. I believe it starts in Gen 4. They become like these crystals that you can target, and it becomes really easy to figure out where they are. And even in a game like Generations Ultimate, it becomes really easy to mine, because I think it's in Area 5, the area where Rathalos sleeps in Forest and Hills. I know in Monster Hunter 1, they only have one little crack there. That's where you can mine. It is what it is. You get what you get. But you can get some Acolyte from there if you're in low rank, or I think you can get some Dragonite ore there in high rank if you're lucky. But in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, I think the mining spots not only respawn, there's just a lot of them. Still, there's a couple of mining spots over here. They still have the crack method. Why am I saying it like that? I shouldn't never say that. But yeah, they have that method of, you know, there's little cracks in the wall, and then you can mine from there. But I think there is a couple of others. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember. I think it's just there's certain objects as well that have like cracks in them, like that one that you can mine from. Oh, and I'm also surprised that this Bullfingo respawned. So let's go ahead and, oh man, I get absolutely launched by him. See, that's really the biggest problem with Bullfingos and why everybody hates them. So you have like 2 extreme ends of the spectrum. You have on one hand maybe something like Moss Mine, where they won't bother you unless they actually get attacked and then, you know, take some damage. And then, yeah, they'll bother you, but it's not too bad. You can kill them in like 1 or 2 hits. Then on the other hand of the spectrum, you have Congos from Monster Hunter DOS, and they are an absolute menace. And then right before the Congos, you just have Bullfangos in every single Monster Hunter game because they are actually demonic and evil and one of the worst things in Monster Hunter. So I believe how it goes in terms of the worst, like the worst three. First, it's Congos from Monster Hunter DOS, like DOS specifically. Then then before them, you have Bullfangos in almost any Monster Hunter game, and then before them, you have the Vespoids, pretty much Vespoids in any game. I think it's really funny because Banabras, as what I call them, like the colorful Vespoids that are, I believe they were introduced in this game. They have like a Japanese insect aesthetic. I can't remember what they're based off of. I think it's some sort of Japanese beetle or something. But the Banabras in this game, they're nowhere near as bad as the Vespoids in pretty much any other game, or this game. I do believe there are Vespoid in this game, but I could be wrong. But I know they are in Tri and Generations, or not Generations, Tri and 3 Ultimate. But as I was saying before, I do think it's funny that they're not as bad as the Vespoids in other games, because they're basically the same insect, just reskinned, but it's like they have tweaked AI. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's like they hover around more. And they just don't fly around as much. They don't like input read as much, and they're just a lot easier to hit. So I would say that's definitely a blessing. Like even just that, obviously. Wait, did it do damage to me? If it did do damage to me, I think it's just that they can't knock you back like the Vespoids can as well. But something else I forgot to mention, I believe it goes from DOS Congas from the worst to the least worst. No, I'm not going to give you a full list, but probably the first 4 at the very end. So the worst is Congas from Monster Hunter DOS, then you have Bullfangos, then you have Vespoids, and then just before them, you have the Malinks, because they will rob you. And that is definitely not fun. For the Banabras as well, I really like them because I love their weapons. Something I think would be a really fun combination is getting the Banabra weapons, but the Vespoid armor. I think that'd be a really cool combination, not only in terms of the colors, but, you know, just the theme going there. You got a whole insect build going on. And they have really interesting weapons. Like, the design for the sword and shield is actually one of my favorites in the entire series, because I believe it has it's like the sword is based off of their wings, and the shield is their shell. And then you have the hunting horn, which is literally one of my favorite hunting horns. It's a violin. It's just a really pretty violin, and I absolutely love it. Oh, and there's that instant charge I was talking about with the Fango. So, yeah, that's always a fun thing to see. I'm not sure, like, I guess for Monster Hunter 1, I kind of got it, because it was a little harder to code things, but I know in the 3rd generation, with Tri and Jaggy and Monster Hunter DOS and everything else, they made, like, a huge effort. Like, I can tell they made a huge effort. I'm not really sure how well they marketed the monsters or, you know, like, the new animation system, but they really put in a huge effort in animating the monsters meticulously to have a whole lot of, you know, like, they drew their attacks up and had a lot of lead into the attack. I can't remember what it is, but I think it's, like, a lead up in the animation. I'm not 100% sure. There's a term for it that I'm forgetting, but it's like they actually telegraphing their attacks. Telegraphing, that's the word I was looking for. But I think it's funny how they had these monsters that actually visibly. Oh my god, I hate these guys so much. But I think it's funny how they had all these monsters that telegraph their attacks, and Bullfangos still have the BS instant charge attack, and it's literally just one of the worst things in Monster Hunter. They literally just instantly charge with no lead up, and it's impossible to tell whenever the animation comes out. Or I could just be missing something. Again, if anybody knows if there is like an actual lead up or a telegraph to tell you whenever they're actually going to do their instant charge, do let me know. Because I know in Monster Hunter 1, for some of them, like, I would say Kezu, for example. No, not Kezu. I think Kezu's a bad example. There are a couple of monsters in Monster Hunter 1 that would pause for a brief second, like Rathalos or Rathian, and that's how you knew they were definitely about to charge. Although, I'm not 100% sure where the rest of the Bullfango are. I only need one more, so there's just one Bullfango hanging out somewhere, literally just hiding out, and I have to figure out where this guy is. Okay, here we go. So I was wondering, like, if I missed an area, and it turns out I did miss this area too. I was thinking about a moment ago, because I knew this is the area where, like, the Palatos were and the Malinks. Now so I didn't think about them. But I just forgot to actually come over here and do the area. What I might do is get the Bullfingo hammer, because it's just like a Bullfingo hammer stick, and I absolutely love it. But as I was saying before, yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not really too much to this class. The Bull Drum is really easy. It's just a souped up Bullfingo, and I actually think he has one of the lowest health pools of any monster. Either that or one of the lowest defense stats, but it's pretty easy to deal with him. As long as you know what you're doing, at least. If you can, like, avoid the charges, you're pretty much good to go for the most part when it comes to the Bull Drum. Alright, looks like that's it for today. Thank everybody so much for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like on it. Sorry about the lack of videos the last couple of days. As soon as you see this video, that means my internet is fixed, because my internet's been having trouble the last couple of days. But we got it resolved, and everything should be good now. I'm just going to be donating plasma either today or tomorrow, and then I'll be streaming after that. That said, if you like the video, leave a like on it. Comment down below on if you have any tips on dealing with Bullfingo's instant charges, because I hate it. And if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to the channel. I also have a high effort video come out in the next couple of days. I'm just not really satisfied with it, but I'm going to have to release it because I'm trying to get at least a video out a week that's like high effort and has a lot of editing and time put into it. So hopefully that video is enjoyable as well. And if you want to support the future of the channel, check out my Patreon link in the description below. That's it. Thank everybody so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye now.